Hi guys, it's been a while since I've done a live. So I'm gonna wait. If you join in, please leave me a comment saying hi. Let me know that everything's working. So this live should be going on in both Facebook and YouTube. So let me know which one you're on, and I'll just give it a few minutes to let people join in before I start talking about what is going on with Jump Into Shape. So, just so everyone's aware, and I'll probably repeat this as people join in. This live, I really want to stay focused on Jump Into Shape, both the class and the new coaching that I'm setting up. So, what that means is we're not going to talk about hopefully any other questions you might have dealing with other things or like personal dog questions. We're going to try and keep it focused on the class. So, as you join in, please let me know, say hi. Just want to make sure everything is working okay. But I am going to dive in a little bit on the class first. I think probably most people are wanting or having questions about the new private coaching. So I'll talk about the class to let people, continue to join in a little bit. So hopefully most of you guys are familiar with the Jump Into Shape class that has been going on for years. I think the first one probably started back in 2016. And for those of you that don't know, it's basically based on, can't see him, but he's behind me, Stig, and what I did to help him with his jumping. He definitely had jumping struggles as a young dog. And this is basically what I did to help him with it and keep him strong and have as efficient jumping as possible throughout his career. And I think it worked pretty well. I mean, he got third place in speed stakes at the US Open when he was at the prime of his career. So, it wasn't really just a Band-Aid for him. And now I use this program for all my dogs starting up. Like, this is how I teach them to jump when it's time to start working on jumping. So it's been run for, like I said, many, many years now. It's a combination of both jumping drills and fitness exercises. And I run it on my own platform now on my Teachable site, which is the Total Canine Campus. There are working spots, there are auditing spots. I'm trying to run it about every 3 months at this point. So it usually comes around 4 times a year if all is going well with me. And it is, a really fun class. I think I do things a little bit different than maybe you're used to with online classes. Almost everything gets released at once. There's a little bit of a delay with some of the exercises, but it is not a progression class of like, you do this, then you do this, then you do this. It's really based on, I look at your dog, what they're doing now, analyze their jumping, and then based on that, I try to guide you through exercises I would do specifically. If you're, a lot of times we end up hitting all the exercises in the class. I just give you more of a specific order to do them in that I think will help your dog. Or if a problem shows up in one exercise, I typically have another exercise to help with that. So I might, oftentimes I'll be like, stop doing this exercise. Let's move to this one, do that one for a little bit. Then we'll come back and see if we fix that issue. The other thing that's a little bit different with Jump Into Shape and how I do things is I try and do most of my feedback on video. So what that means is when you post a video for me to review, I don't just type what I'm seeing and give you recommendations. I actually take that video and put it in a program so I can write on it, like show you, circle things of what I'm talking about, and do a voiceover for it so that you get that kind of feedback and you can see what I'm seeing. And that's how I do most of it. Now, occasionally there'll be something that like looks great and I'm just going to be like, oh, this is perfect. Let's do this. And you might not get a video for it. But I do think that makes it a little bit unique. So the September session of Jump Into Shape is open for registration currently. There are still working spots available. There are unlimited auditing spots. I do hold the working spots to only 15. I think 4 or 5 are taken currently. So feel free to jump in and get registered for that. It's going to start the first week of September. So in the US, we have Labor Day, the first Monday in September. It's going to officially start the Wednesday after Labor Day. I am going to try to post the link in the comments so you guys have access to that. And can someone who's watching just write a quick comment, say hi, so that I know everything's working, and make sure that there's not any problems and I'm just talking to myself right now. So hi Annie, good. Like I see people are watching but no one has a comment, so I'm afraid. Okay, let me get the link for you guys to the latest session of Jump Into Shape. Now, are there hi Katie, any questions? I mean, right now, before I start talking about the private coaching, any questions that you guys have about the class, Jump Into Shape? Anyone who's been in it that would like to make a comment, feel free. Yeah, I'll still answer questions about the class, but it might get a little confusing as we move on, whether you're asking about the class or the private coaching. So please make sure and specify if you ask questions about the class later on. I am going to paste the link now. Hopefully that works so you guys can see. Oh, it did it through YouTube. Okay, it worked on both. Wow, it just repeated all over the place. So hopefully everyone can see the link for that takes you to the sale page for the September class. The last class is wrapping up. We're in the last month. I had a lot of really active students. It's been a lot of fun. I think a lot of people I think every single time people get a lot out of the class. I was really excited. Actually, I just last week came back from Poland from competing at the Border Collie Classic with Finnick, and it really meant a lot to me that there in Poland, I had 2 people come up and find me and introduce themselves and tell me, remind me that they had both taken Jump, and this was 2 separate incidences, taken Jump Into Shape, and how much they loved it and like how well their dogs are doing. And I was really, really excited because, you know, it's hard one to just travel overseas with your dog and be out there and not really know a lot of people. So then to have people come up and tell me how much this class helped them was amazing to hear. So I really love teaching it. I continue each session to get nerdier and nerdier with looking at jumping and dissecting it and figuring it out and really working to make the dogs be as efficient jumpers as possible. So post your questions if you have them. Like I said, you can keep posting them throughout the live. But hi, Yvonne. I am going to move on to the private coaching aspect. So this really stems from having people, and again, this has been going on for years of teaching this, and I've always kind of blown it off. But having people ask me, is there a part 2? Is there a next step? Can you teach jump into shape 2? And the thing about that is when I sit down and try to come up with something, I just don't feel like there's enough to really create a full class building off what's already in jump into shape. So meaning that I feel like jump into shape is very complete. There's a lot you can do with everything that's in there. A lot of problems that you can help with everything that's in there. So part 2 to me, like when I would sit down and think about it, was really just advancing some of the exercises in there. Like I was thinking about, what do I do with like working on certain problems, especially with my younger border collies who just like to go fast. How do I work through difficult jumping situations? What exercises from jump into shape do I go back to, and how do I modify them to better suit the situation I'm seeing? And there are definitely things I do, but it's not a huge list. And there's not, like I said, necessarily something like new that I'm like, oh, this thing. It's all modifications of the exercises from the original one, but they're all very specific to what I'm struggling with. They're solutions to the specific struggle more than anything. They're not necessarily something I just do offhand as jumping exercises. So what I came up with instead was the idea of doing a jump into shape private coaching. So this is definitely more suited for people who are struggling with jumping, whether it's, the dog really struggles how to jump efficiently, or whether it's, you've got the 1 bar wonder where you go out on course and no matter what, you always have that 1 bar dropped. This is more getting my eye to help you with those specific problems and working with you even more one-on-one than what I do with a working spot. So when I thought about how would I do this? How would I give people the most of me to really benefit from this private coaching? My first thought was it needs to be small. It needs to be a limited group of people. So I'm not dividing my time up over many, many people and not giving them my full self because I have to meet with so many people. So that's why I really want to maximize this at 6 people. And I think even 6 might be a lot, but I think it's doable. And I really want people, like, this is serious private coaching. So I want people that are dedicated. I'm the typical online student who I sign up for a class. Maybe I'm really active for 3-4 weeks and then I kind of drop off. I'm not doing it as much. It's hard for me to keep up. I don't find the time to go do the exercises. And that's okay. I know that's me. And I know it gets hard as you're going along. For the private coaching, though, for the 6 months, I really want people that are dedicated to it and will take the process the whole way through. So what I want to talk about is what all I have, or my idea of what all you'll be getting with the private coaching. Number one, it's 6 months long. So it's twice the length of the Jump Into Shape class. And what that means is you'll get to observe 2 Jump Into Shape classes. So basically, you will be like an auditor in both sessions. So in the September session of Jump Into Shape and the December session of Jump Into Shape. So you'll have full access to all the curriculum that's in there the entire 6 months. And you'll be able to observe my feedback with the students in there. So what that benefits you is seeing up to 15 different dogs with different issues, maybe no issues, and kind of how I progress each one, how I guide them through it. The other thing you'll have access to is YouTube playlists of my feedback videos. So what this means is, like I said, for the class, I do all my feedback as a video. I take the video submitted, I upload it to a program that I can then draw, make notes, and talk, like do a voiceover as I'm going through. Then I have to upload it to YouTube to be able to give it back to the student as feedback. So I have hundreds, if not thousands, of feedback videos that you, again, will have access to that, again, to just kind of, it's more not necessarily to go through and find a dog like yours and see what I said, because you have me in the private coaching. You don't need to go find something else. I will answer your questions. But it's more to educate yourself about jumping. Look at all these different dogs. Look at how they jump. Listen to what I have to say about like different issues, different opinions that I have, so free access to that. Then because it's kind of a part 2 of Jump Into Shape, it's a continuation. I will be adding those kind of new exercises, which they're not really, they're advancements of exercises into Jump Into Shape. So I will be demonstrating them, talking through them, why I use them, where I would use them, what the struggle is that I use them to work on this. And again, like I said, it's not, I know the new exercises aren't going to be necessarily mind blowing, but I think it could be. It could, like, some of the things might be difficult to see that progression. I will also say whereas Jump Into Shape was created mostly for my border collie Stig and his jumping struggles, I would say the new exercises are more based on struggles with Finnick. And what I'm going to put out there is Finnick is a gorgeous jumper. That's not a problem. The problem is more I want to go fast all the time. So adding in an extra stride, collecting to really take care of the jump is more where these have popped up. So again, it's not necessarily things that are specific to what I would call efficient jumping. It's more specific to appropriate body mechanics for the type of jump I'm asking for. So to be really vague about it. So what I'm thinking is like, say they're coming in to a jump on a slice, you're really far ahead. So basically you're on the takeoff side, they need to jump and like turn around the wing tightly to get back to your side. Well, they take that slice in full extension, they're going to lose a lot of ground on the landing to turn and get back in place. And some of them, wink, wink, Finnick, might even choose to actually blind cross you to go on the other side because they don't want to put the effort into getting in tight to the correct side after jumping in extension. So being able to show them that they can actually collect and take the jump, or throw in an extra stride, take the jump, maybe like squaring up to the jump a little bit better, to end up in the appropriate place on the landing side without having all that yardage, and show them actually that's faster. So that's, not to give away like all the exercises that I've come up with for the new exercises for this. But basically, if you've taken the Jump Into Shape class, when people are like, oh, what do I need for class? And I'm always like 5 jumps and a platform, maybe 2 platforms could benefit you. The one addition to this is you would need some kind of jump bumps. And it doesn't have to be anything like fancy. Pool noodle cut in half works fine, but just something. Actually, oftentimes when I'm out somewhere else, I just grab extra jump bars. But that would be the one extra, or the extra pieces of equipment that you would need for this. So what else do you get with the Jump Into Shape private coaching? Well, we're going to do weekly group meetings. So if I get 6 people signed up, all 6 students plus me are going to meet each week. This is online. None of this is in person. And we're going to talk about how the past week went. Everyone. So that, weekly for 6 months. Then we're also going to do 2 private meetings. So each individual gets to meet privately with me to discuss things for twice every month for the 6 months. And that can be, we can talk about exercises, struggles you're having. That's kind of open. Like I said, it's a private one-on-one to go over things. The other thing I want to offer, since I'm imagining this kind of in the realms of, I created it more based on Finnick's journey than Stig's journey, is I want to have, competition or even training sessions where you're running a course, reviews. So basically you can submit up to 4 runs for review each month. And what I'm imagining of that is, it's a run where maybe you had that one bar and you're like, why did this bar come down? What can we do to make sure this bar doesn't come down again? Or it just may be, wow, the jumping was totally off on this run. What's going on? So it can be more specific to, like I said, your struggles, and we can go over them, discuss what I see happening, but also then come up with solutions. Like basically, these are the exercises you need to work on to help fix that. The other thing I was thinking about with the competition runs was, maybe the bar didn't come down, but they turned super wide. They didn't collect for the jump. Why is that happening? What can we do to improve that? So, that would, like I said, for the entire 6 months, and if you're not competing, that's okay. They can also be training runs. Like maybe you set up a short sequence, to work on in class, and you were struggling with something, you can submit that for review. Just, have to remember to set up videoing it. So if something happens, you have it on video. So that's really what I'm thinking of everything for the Jump Into Shape private coaching. So really feel like that's a lot for these students. Obviously, it's a new thing I'll be doing, so I hope to learn from it and grow from it as well. Learn from everyone who's in it, and hopefully just keep making it better and better. Now, because of this, I think I may have already said this, I'm going to be picky about who gets to do the private coaching. So if you're interested, and I haven't set this up yet, but I am thinking I will do a form that you have to fill out saying you're interested. And then we would set up like a quick kind of like discovery call, so I could talk to you about it, talk about the process, and make sure that you're a good fit, and that you're dedicated to working for the entire 6 months. So I think that's pretty much all the new information about what the private coaching is going to be. I do want this to start with the next session of Jump Into Shape, which September 6th is when that class starts. So this process is going to go pretty fast. We've got a couple more weeks that I'll be basically taking interest from people and trying to set up quick 10-15 minute calls with them and make sure they're a good fit and they want to do it. So any questions about things, which it could be the process, and I may not know everything because like I said, this private coaching is new. What I will tell you, how I think it's going to work, is it will also be through Teachable. So through my platform on teachable.com, the Total Canine Campus, because if I go through there, that makes it easier for me to give you access to the classes, the class curriculum, so you can see all that. It also will allow me to have everything in one situation, so it's not hard. You don't have to go back and be like, well, I need that original email that had the link to all the YouTube videos. No, it'll have that there. So, if it's a Thursday morning at 3 a.m. and you're like, I really just need to go watch the playlist of jump analysis videos, you can go in and do that. And you don't have to spend a lot of time searching for where was that link? Where did I put it? So the other thing, I might have to add in some other platforms to make sure that communication, because I don't believe there's any kind of messaging on Teachable. So we might also form a WhatsApp group or a Facebook Messenger group, just so we can have that regular communication with all the private coaching students and myself, and make sure that I'm able to tell you what's going on, if anything changes, and remind you of when the weekly meetings are and whatnot, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to open up to questions. Both, like I said, you can ask about the class, you can ask about the private coaching, just differentiate for me which one you're talking about. So Yvonne asked, Emmett is signed up for a working spot. So signed up for a working spot in the class, the September session of the class. He's only 13 months old. Would he be appropriate for this? So yes, he's definitely old enough for the class. And I think he would be fine for the private coaching too. The only caveat I would say with Emmett being young and just starting jumping is it's 6 months long, so we got lots of time to work through stuff, but I would definitely be working through the curriculum in Jump Into Shape first, all the beginning stuff, before doing the more advanced stuff that I have planned that's kind of quote unquote new, but it's really just, and they're just advances of exercises in Jump Into Shape. So you have to get those down before we can do the advances. I will also tell you, Yvonne, since you're here, some of the inspiration is definitely things that I gave you early on that made, that's what really got my juices flowing of how I can work on certain things, and how the dog really how they respond to certain things, and how I can use that to my advantage and whatnot. Anyway, I just, you were a part of this process of creation. Just gonna say. So Linda asked, would you take Bitey Sport Dogs for private coaching? I'm gonna say yes. Here's the thing, Linda. I'm gonna tell you all the advancements of exercises that I have applied, have come up with, apply mostly to agility. That being said, I can be creative in coming up with how to advance things from jump into shape for Bitey dogs. So I would say if I do get Bitey Sport Dogs as a for the private coaching, I would make sure that is available. Plus, like I said, we'll have the the weekly discussions and the private discussions where we can like go over like your special needs, because obviously they're going to be different. If everyone else is agility only, Bitey Sport is going to be different than the agility needs. We're probably not going to talk a lot about collecting and turning tight and that kind of stuff for the Bitey dogs. Although I know you do agility too, so you might throw some of that in. So yeah, good question. And just again, since Linda brought it up, Bitey Sports, because I know not everyone knows this, because I did it privately, but a while back for one or two of the jump into shape classes, I did create a private Bitey Sport group. They didn't get all these benefits that I'm like, talking about, but it was a place to get all the Bitey Dog Sport people together so they could feel a sense of community, and where we could discuss specific issues with their jumping needs. And I learned a lot from it. It was really fun. I think I think a lot of, again, I'm going to speak for people, but I think a lot of people really enjoyed it, and kind of, again, nerding out about jumping, how jumping, why jumping, what jumping, like all the different aspects and what we need the dogs to understand to successfully do these huge jumps. So good questions. What else, people? I will, because I know this will come up, I will, like I said, my goal is obviously, like I need to start getting a link to an interest form posted. I tried I was gonna try and create a group message to basically send this all to the people who said they were interested on the first post, and Facebook just thwarted me with being able to write a group message in through my business page. So instead I did this live. So hopefully everyone who said they were interested will get to watch this, and you can always, even on replay, ask questions and I'll get notifications for them. But the next step for me, like I said, I'm gonna create like a Google form that's are you interested, fill this out. And then the next step after that would be to set up a quick call to talk and really make sure it's a right fit. And then go from there with signing up. And like I said, the sign up will be through Teachable. There was something else I just thought of that I wanted to say about the private coaching, and I'm forgetting. So, again, feel free to ask questions about things. I'm really excited for this. I love working with people on jumping issues. Like I said, it's weird, and I'm happy to own it. But it's something, like I said, I've been doing it for many years now, and I'm still excited to do it. I still find a lot of enjoyment helping people through each class session, and seeing, the excitement as things improve. I remember what I was going to say about the private coaching. Preference will be given to people who have taken Jump Into Shape before. You don't necessarily have to have been a working spot. Auditing is fine, but already having some baseline knowledge going in, I just think it's going to be beneficial for a smooth process. But like I said, even preferential treatment, that doesn't mean you have to have taken it to get a spot. You'll have access to all the curriculum from Jump Into Shape, so it is definitely something that it's available, so you won't be totally in the black if I'm like, okay, we need to work on sit jumps like this, and you're like, what's a sit jump? It's still there, and we can go over it, but it's just one of those things of, I think, communication in, especially the group settings might be a little bit easier if you have taken Jump Into Shape and kind of know all the terms, know the exercises. But like I said, I'm not restricting it to people who've taken the class. It's just, if you've taken the class, it is beneficial to you. So Annie asked, not specifically regarding private coaching, but is the course material for auditing savable, downloadable for review after class ends? So probably. I don't know for sure because I've never tried to do it, but it is. I'm trying to think because I'm not sure. It's one of those things where you can definitely copy paste off the writing, screenshot it. I am blanking now because I know Teachable, you can turn things on for downloading. What I don't remember is if they have to be in PDF form. So let me look real quick. Let me go to the curriculum and just see real quick. I think it may not be as easy as just hitting a download button. I think it would be something like you have to copy paste the material. I think it has to be PDF forms, or it has to be a file for me to say you can download it. And unfortunately, I just sat and typed into that. So it's all words and videos. I also, my biggest thing with it is I don't really care if you copy it, save the YouTube links of my, instruction. The biggest thing for me is just don't share it with other people who aren't in the class, because, while most of us are, we understand, we're good with it. It's one of those things that when it gets shared and then I see it word for word show up somewhere else, that's not good. It's, so my biggest thing, there's no way I can keep you from doing some of these things, like copy pasting, screenshotting. But I would just hope that you keep it for yourself and not share it with other people. Yes, Annie, I get it. I'm one of those. I've done the thing where even I'll sign up for the class again, because I do lose access to it. And I'm like, oh, but I still wanted to work through stuff. and I've gotten remotivated. So let me sign up again. So I get it. That's why, like I don't mind if you have your way of like pulling it off the site. What I will say is, at least with Jump Into Shape the class, because everything gets released very quickly and I kind of guide you through what I want you to do. Not all students are necessarily going to work through all the exercises in a session. Not because there's not time, but because I'll say this exercise is not for you. I don't want you to do it. Others, we do everything. But the point with that is, what I find is most students have covered all the exercises or like worked through what we need to do to help with the solution within the first 2 months. So what I found, and granted, this is the first year it's been on Teachable and I've kind of done it like this. But what I found is that last month of the session, month 3, is kind of slow in that there's not, it's a lot of review. It's a lot of like continuing to just like work on things to perfect them. It's not suddenly, oh, it's month 3, here's a whole bunch of new stuff that if you've kind of, burnt out from the class, you're going to miss it. It's all been, I think this session, I have it set that like by the end of week 2 of the class, everything has been published. I try not to do it all at once because I don't want someone to go like, oh my God, there's like 16 exercises that I have to get through and be overwhelmed. So I do kind of stagger the 3 sections in the beginning. There's 3 sections. I've divided it into 3 sections, but it's literally like class starts, you get section 1, 5 days later, section 2, 5 days later, section 3. So there's a little bit of staggering, but it's all very quick that you get all the material. So yeah, that's how I work with the class. Thank you, Yvonne. I'm glad it's helped. I mean, you've worked with me many years, and I love problem solving for jumping. It's definitely something, like I said, I kind of tend to nerd out on it, and I have a lot of fun doing it. So, as we go along, even if more, not in the class, the Jump Into Shape class curriculum set. So I'm not gonna, if something comes up that's weird, I am going to try to give you a solution from what's in the class. Versus private coaching is where if something comes up and I don't have something already for that problem, I'm going to go out and work through it and try and figure out how best to help you. So, even though I listed like all this stuff that I'm putting in there in the private coaching, very well over 6 months, we could accumulate a lot more in there to help people, because dogs aren't cookie cutters. They always come up with something new. Like I was saying, for Finnick, it's one of those things where he's such like going through the Jump Into Shape program, so good, such a nice efficient jumper. I kind of was like, this is cool. Like we don't have a jumping problem, and we don't. But in pushing for excellence, I can see there are things that the jumping effort is more difficult, or the value for running fast, staying in extension overrides the value for putting in another stride, so you can more efficiently have a more efficient line over the jump and back to me. So that's where it's always a process of learning more. Cool. Any more questions? I'm going for a while now, so I'm probably going to wrap things up. Definitely, if you're interested, make sure to watch the Facebook page for the link. Like I said, my next step is creating the Google form for people that are interested to fill out. And then we'll go from there. It's don't have a lot of time to think about this. Like I said, I want to get the private coaching started at the same time class starts. Also, if you are thinking about signing up for class, don't wait too long. Last time, there was a little bit of a glitch in signing up for working spots, so I ended up having a lot more working spots than I allowed for. But even without the glitch, I think working spots were sold out. The true working spots were sold out before the session started. So don't wait until the day before and then be like, okay, yes, I do want a working spot, and then find out they're all full. The other thing to be aware of is if you sign up for an auditing spot and then you start the class and you want to upgrade to a working spot, I am only going to upgrade you to do upgrades to working spot if there are still working spots available. So if working spots sell out, then auditors are not going to be able to upgrade once class starts. If it's before class and you sign up for an auditing spot and then decide you want to do a working spot and there's still working spots available, we can do that. But that's kind of a little bit of one of the parts of the glitch that happened in this past session too, that I ended up with, I think, over 20 working spots. And that first month was a little bit wild trying to keep up with everyone. So, yeah. So I'm going to just wait a little bit longer to see if any more questions pop up before I close out. And like I said, if you're watching this on replay, you can still leave a comment and I'll answer it. If you're watching this live and you go away and like in the middle of the night, you're like, oh my God, I have a question. Put it in the comments. It will get to me. This will be available for replay on the Facebook page and on the YouTube page. It is the Total Canine YouTube page, not my personal YouTube page, just in case you're wondering. If you're like, I never see these on the YouTube page, it's because it's actually the Total Canine has its own YouTube page. So last little bit to sneak in any questions. I know there's a delay, so I don't want to just cut things off if they're being typed coming in. Let's see. We'll see if anything comes. Anyway, while I'm waiting, I'm super excited to offer this private coaching. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think whoever gets into it is really going to get a lot out of it. It's like I said, it's definitely my passion. If it wasn't, I don't think I would continue to do it. I've been doing, like I said, this class has been going on for at least 7 years. So it's about time for there to be a little bit more of it. And I'm excited to really give some people a lot of personal attention, way more than a working spot gets, to go through it. So, okay. I am going to sign off. Happy Monday to everyone. Like I said, keep an eye on the Facebook page for updates about the private coaching. And if you have decided you want to do the Jump into Shape class and you specifically want a working spot, sign up sooner rather than later. And auditing is unlimited, so you can always sign up for auditing, but I do think the working spots will go fast. So I hope to see you guys there in class or in private coaching. Bye.